and I'm going to be asking the lovely Faye to join me. As we know, Faye from Steps, and oh, she looks like Faye is there already. She's early like me. Thanks everyone for jumping on. Bear with me one moment while I invite her on. Let's see. So. Hi, Dr. Moira. Cook freeze. Not heard that one before. Hello.
Hey, hello. How you doing?
Oh, fine. I always say this, but I'm always dubious. I always think, oh my God, is it going to connect okay?
I know. And I was just thinking, what buttons do you press again? I can't remember.
The only trouble, isn't it, when you haven't done a live for a while and you think, oh my God, which one is it?
And everything changes,
yeah.
And so my technology knowledge isn't always up to date as well. So yeah.
Oh, thanks so much, Faye, for jumping on and having a chat with me today. I know how busy you all are.
I'm actually having a little bit of a break. I do get very busy very soon, so I'm very excited for all that to happen. But I've got a week to myself now. I'm trying to have a bit of zen, trying to do some housework, housekeeping, get everything ready before it all goes a bit crazy again.
Oh, those boring things.
Yeah, exactly. Just making sure everything's away and you've done, exactly, paperwork and boring stuff. Yeah.
Oh. I didn't get a chance to well, everybody knows who you are, Faye, because of course you're part of Steps, which we all love and know. I mean, I love the music, absolutely love it. You know, tragedy is always there, along with 5, 6, 7, 8, and what was the other one? Chain Reaction.
There we go. Yeah, and the rest, Deep Shade of Blue. All the
my God, there's so many. Yeah, we could be here for hours, but. Early last year, I believe, you started experiencing perimenopause.
Yeah, well, what's quite interesting, having read and done more research and joined so many different groups on Instagram and other platforms, I actually think that my symptoms started a long time before that. And if I wanted to pinpoint a moment that probably kick-started my journey into what I feel like the physical menopause was last year. I think it was just after Christmas. I mean, we're all going to be quite graphic here in my explanations. I'm just going to say it, put it out there because it's what happened.
Yeah.
Was my cycle went mental, and basically I'm just going to say I flooded for like 2 weeks, and I actually thought I was hemorrhaging. I thought there was something really badly wrong with me. And I was in a break after pantomime, and I thought, thank heavens I'm not at work, because had I been on stage in a costume, it would have been devastating, it would have been embarrassing, it would have been heartbreaking, and something that would probably traumatise me and not go back to work for a long time. So I was in a really fortunate place that I was home. And also my mother-in-law, who was a general nurse practitioner, had like talked about these things before. She said, if anything like this happens, come and talk to me, and I can explain things that happened to me, things that happened to other people. And that was such a godsend, having somebody like that in my life.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't, do they?
Yeah, absolutely. And I had lots of friends also say, Davina, you need to go and read Menopausing, the holy Bible of our wonderful
it is very good
journey. Exactly. So yeah, I think that was the big physical thing. But now looking back, I'm just going to be talking for half an hour, aren't I?
You carry on.
Was another thing that I had, and this is again, I mean, we like to live a glamorous life and we like to pretend that everything's rosy and beautiful, but actually let's talk about reality. So I ended up having a bit of dry eye.
Oh yes.
So I get blocked tear ducts, which means it's bile. So I end up having like problems with my eyelash and tear ducts. And apparently that's like can be linked to estrogen deficiency. So that was fun. So I've been doing a lot of research into how to keep your eyes healthier, and yeah, all those sorts of things. But that was about when I was, I think it was just over 40. And then my eyesight as well, got my readers. Always got my readers at the ready, guys. So if I can't find anything, I'm like, right, hold on.
I've always got these on because I actually am a complete blur if I took them off on there. So I can't see a thing now.
And what's so hilarious is Claire from Steps is also, I mean, she has glasses to read anyway, and it's that time in your life when you start sharing glasses. And you're just like, oh, I haven't got my readers with me. And Claire's like, hold on a minute, that. And then you can read the menu and then pass them back.
It's always the menu, isn't it? Yeah, you're always sat there going, oh bugger, I forgot my glasses. Anyone got any glasses?
Oh my goodness. And I've literally, I'm now that person who has a pair of glasses down in the lounge, one in my dressing room and one by my bed.
Everywhere. I've got them all around the house.
Because I put things down and I can't find any of them.
I noticed one of your some of your symptoms you were saying, I don't know if that's right, but anxiety, exhaustion, joint pain, rage. I could go on and on, but
where should we start? Okay, so I think joint pain. So I'm quite a physical person. My job is physical. I've always really enjoyed dance, any sort of activities. I like to do anything with music, really. Exercise to music is always something that's a favourite to me. And when I go down to the gym, because we're all told that exercising with weights at this time in our lives is a good idea. And I know that when you go down to the gym, your body hurts the next day because you've done a good job. But it wasn't that sort of pain. It was pain in my shoulders, pain in my elbows, pain in my knees, and not muscular pain. It really felt like joint pain. So as I was really reading menopausing, I was like, okay, so this could be part of that too. And I'm not somebody who goes to the doctors a lot. I don't take painkillers. I spend probably most of my Christmases on Lemsip, probably. That's all I do. But
I can't stand the taste of Lemsip. My mum always says, have a Lemsip. I'm like,
why haven't they evolved Lemsip? But I think that was a real noticeable one. And being tired, it wasn't like being tired after a tour because you'd had a lovely time. It was mentally drained, I think, and everything was a bit overwhelming. I think when I got my first bout of anxiety, because I'm not somebody who's particularly anxious, yes, I get excited, nervous for performing. I have nerves for like auditions and stuff, but it was that sort of feeling, like a physical, almost like a trembling inside.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And it was just because we were going to go round to Nana's for Sunday dinner, and suddenly I had to sit myself down, had a little bit of a flush, and felt really out of my body.
Anxiety was probably one of the worst things I suffered with. Because what sort of age were you? Because I mean, I went into surgical menopause at 46, but yours started around early to mid 40s, really.
Yeah, so I think my really small symptoms happened sort of just after 40, but I think my more physical symptoms have happened within the last year, probably about a year ago. Those big signs were like, I don't feel like myself right now, and I don't know why, and I don't know what to do about it. And again, menopausing was my Bible, and having my friends and my sisters to talk to. I say sisters as in sisterhood. And quite interesting, a real godsend for me as well was Samantha Womack.
Oh yes.
I did a show called 42nd Street, and we were touring with that. Now she went into menopause because of her breast cancer, so she can't take HRT. So what was really interesting was how she deals with it, and being able to vent, and be able to stand
isn't it, sometimes as well, talking to other women that know what you're going through.
Yeah, and just standing by the side of the stage going, oh, is it hot in here? Am I flushing? Like, I think we're both flushing just at the same time, you know. And it was nice having that camaraderie to be able to say, oh, that's going on with you too. Okay, good. And actually, our fabulous ensemble, a lot of the boys were sort of joining in and just, you know, making it so normal. And it was so nice not to feel alone and to feel embarrassed and to feel like I had to hide in a corner. It was like, this is what's happening, this is what happens to us girls, and now we're allowed to talk about it, and there are things that we can do and ways and means to live our best lives as we go through this journey.
Yeah, without doubt. And I think, I mean, I've got 3 sons. I understand you've got a son, Benjamin,
yes,
is it?
Benjamin. He's nearly 15,
Yeah, so mine are a bit older now, because I'm 10 years older than you, and they know everything and anything to know about menopause, obviously, because of me.
Good.
But I think it's so important, and my husband, but I think it's important that our family knows when you're experiencing these issues, because you get, some of the symptoms can be awful. I mean, you were saying about rage at one point and just being angry about silly, that was one of my big ones as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not somebody who likes confrontation in general. I am somebody who is a good peacekeeper.
Yeah.
I sometimes sit on the fence, you know.
Sounds like me.
And the rage was real. You know, when people said like rage, it was like an explosion. It was like
it just goes, doesn't it? It's like a bomb going off. You're like,
yeah, it's like a banshee. Like, like you're all of your inner rage at once, just like, exploding. So I actually spoke to Benjamin about this, and he knows exactly what's going on, bless him.
Avoid mum at all costs.
and I will say to my family as well, I'll say, look guys, feeling a little bit ragey today, just warning you. So if I explode for no reason, apologies in advance, but you know, that's what happens. And so I had a little bit of a break in my HRT because when I was on tour, I couldn't get to a chemist, and they didn't have my specific HRT in. This is all that I'm learning as I'm going along, that you can actually get your prescription, your repeat prescription from your doctors. They can email it to your nearest chemist, and you can get your prescription there. So it meant that I could get it
as long as you're not in Scotland. I worked as a secretary in a big GP surgery for many years, and they basically electronically send it to the chemist of your choice, and as long as they've got the postcode, so if you're travelling with work, you can just say, right, this is the chemist, I've been in, this is their postcode, and they can literally whack it over to you. It's brilliant.
Yeah, which is amazing. As long as they have that specific one in, otherwise they have to order it in, and then you have to find somebody else. But it's all doable, but it takes a lot of planning. So I've actually found, I was doing a little show and tell. I was bringing my Easter gel with me.
Great.
This is one that I'm on.
Yeah, I use that.
And I do literally 1 pump a day, and because it's transdermal, it means it's slightly lower risk in breast cancer, which was something that I wanted to do or choose. And it really works for me. And literally within, let's talk brain fog as well, because literally within a week of getting on this, the brain fog, I would say, lifted, and I got my sentences back, and I was able to retain more information, because with my job I have to learn scripts, I have to put myself out there. And literally sometimes I could stand in a room and I couldn't remember the word for something as basic as chair.
Yeah.
I mean, how
names. People's names were mine.
Yeah. It's like I could be looking at something and the word wouldn't come, and that was really frightening for me. So I can't believe, you know, what a difference this has happened.
Yeah. So you're just using the 1 pump a day at the moment, are you?
1 pump a day. That's it. And what's great is that I know that as things change for me, that I will be able to up my dose if I need it. Another thing that I'm really appreciative of is that it's going to help me with my joints. Yes. It's also going to helped me with my heart health, and getting on it quickly, has meant that I could go back to work and be in control of myself again and feel like myself again. And I can't believe that that's what it is, and the hormones have such power over your body and mind.
God, huge. I'm on I actually take the Everall Conti patch.
Okay.
But I use the gel. I've got the gel here, which is the same as yours basically. In the box here, but it's the round one. There was a lot of issues with ladies with different shapes and sizes, because for a long time we were always getting this one.
Okay.
Which is exactly the same. It's just in a different packaging. Okay. But anyway, so I actually use one pump alongside. I mean, I'm 58, but I use those twice a week, which is a combination patch.
So my reason for not using a patch was because when I'm working, I have costumes and different layers, and I just thought, well, that's going to end up in a pair of fishnets, isn't it?
Yeah, it has happened when mine's come unstuck, and it's like, where the hell has that gone?
I remember when I was younger, my dad, so my mum used hormonal patches, and my dad would wake up and he'd have one on him and panic that he was going to grow boobs. I can remember that being a silly conversation that we had at the dinner table. So
it's a very similar thing I get, because friends will say to me, I use testosterone because having surgery as well, right, to remove the ovaries. Of course, I had one ovary removed at the time, but about 4 years ago I did a lot of research, and I realized that testosterone would help possibly my joint pain and my memory and my concentration, and it's made a huge difference.
So this is an interesting conversation as well, because I'm just about to do my review with my GP to talk about how I'm getting on with the estrogen so far and whether I need anything else to complement that. Now, because of my menstrual cycle situation, I went in and I decided to have a coil fitted.
I'm going to ask you about the progesterone.
So a lot of them are the Mirena. Is one that gets recommended, but
very much.
I don't know whether it's because of my postcode, because I'm up in the northeast,
or
specifically because my GP couldn't offer it to me. I had to go to a sexual health clinic in the local hospital. It was actually very pleasant, and the girls there were absolutely fantastic. But it was called the Levocert.
Yeah, I have heard of that one as well. Yeah, there's a couple of different named ones. I mean, the Marina is, when you say a coil, everyone just says Marina coil, don't they? Or Marina.
Yeah. And I've got to say, it wasn't the most comfortable thing in the world. So when I had it fitted, they were absolutely brilliant and talked me through it. We breathed through the whole situation, and afterwards I felt a bit nauseous and I felt like my legs were wobbly and like jelly. And I took a day to myself to get the a day on the sofa with like a hot water bottle, and felt like I had really, really bad cramping, and actually that lasted a couple of days, to be honest.
Yeah, which is quite lucky, because I know some women struggle for weeks after.
Right. Okay.
Like, yeah. But it just depends on your body, I suppose, and how your body reacts to the coil when it's fitted. But it's a good way to have the progesterone, because it protects the lining of your womb.
So for me, that was a no-brainer. It was really not my most pleasant moment to get it sorted, but absolutely worth it, because I feel that I have the freedom to work and not be afraid of being in any public situation or in a costume where I'm going to have a situation that I will be traumatized about. I mean, exactly.
Basically, what's nice for you is that you're on the lowest dose of estrogen.
Yeah, but it makes such a huge difference.
Yeah, but you can increase it when you need it, when you obviously speak to your GP.
Yeah.
But you can go up to 4 pumps, which is the licensed amount and is the equivalent of 100 patch, basically.
Okay.
But that, the fact that you're managing on one is brilliant.
And the huge difference that it actually makes. It makes me feel completely different. So I was saying before that I had a week where I couldn't get hold of my particular estrogen, and so I had a week without, and the anxiety and the panic that I had was quite interesting, because then I thought, oh, is this now a crutch for me? And actually, no, it's medicine that helps me function, and the fact that it makes such a difference is just so wonderful. So I now know that this Easter gel, it lasts me for about 6 weeks.
Yeah, it would do if you're only using one pump.
Yeah, and so because it lasts me for 6 weeks, then I can pre-plan organising my message to my GP to then get my next batch.
Yeah, so you've got plenty of stock.
Ready. Yeah, exactly. Or if I'm in a place where I can't get hold of it, or they can't get hold of it, I know that I can give myself a couple of days leeway and then not have that it's not going to be there. So yeah.
I mean, I use what they call tester gel,
right,
which is a little tiny sachet. Now that would be used, a man would use all of that, whereas that lasts me 10 to 14 days.
How do you use that then? Do you just have
well, I haven't got it with me, it's up by my bed, but I put that into a little tiny pot, airtight pot.
Yeah.
And then I just scoop out a little tiny bit, pea-size amount, twice a week, and I put it on my upper outer hip. If you go privately, a lot of the private specialists use Androfem, which they can get from Australia because it's licensed there. But unfortunately, testosterone isn't licensed for women in this country. There's not enough research done, unfortunately. So some GPs aren't very happy about prescribing it.
Yeah.
I was very lucky. 4 years ago, I was saw my GP, went along with the NICE guidelines, because it annoys me that the only reason you can have it is for your libido, when in fact it helps in so many other ways for me. I know it's not everybody, but for my joint pain, oh my God, within 3 months, my joints in my ankles, elbows, my left knee, completely gone. And I couldn't believe it, but again, it all depends. It's a bit of a postcode lottery, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. So even if, so this is a question, just out of interest. So if I go to my GP now and I'm saying that my estrogen is doing well, but my libido is low, they would then not still be able to offer me testosterone, or
well, they may suggest they may suggest you increase your estrogen by a pump. I mean, I'm not medically trained, but going by what I've been told in the past, they may suggest to increase your estrogen by 1 extra pump. But I do know that you can have a blood test as well to see where your testosterone levels are. And I know women that have had them done have been really surprised at how low their testosterone is.
So I think I'm going to be offered a blood test next time I go into my GP. But also talking to my mother-in-law, she was saying that your levels can change throughout the day.
Yes, unfortunately, especially at your age, yes, very much so. With reference to blood tests for estrogen levels, they do actually say that over 45 you go by your symptoms, but under 45 you can have a blood test, the FSH blood test, and that can check what your ovaries are doing, but again, you're still going to be a bit like this. So they often say that they're not accurate enough to give you a really, because you could have the blood test Monday and then have it done again on Friday, and the two readings would be very different.
Yeah, exactly. It's so crazy that there's not more research.
And I think if you go by your symptoms, so with me, my night sweats started returning after a few years, so I needed to tweak. So that's why I add in the pump of estrogen gel, and touch wood, my night sweats literally went within a week.
Another thing that my GP was saying was that I shouldn't self-medicate. So
no, you don't.
So if I'm having a bad day, don't just whack another pump on, because I thought that if I was feeling like quite anxious and my levels maybe different, maybe if I just add another pump, that would make it better. But actually, don't do that.
No, I think if you you know, in an ideal world, it would be nice to do that. But I think with surgeries today, I don't know about yours, but with mine, I mean, because I've worked in a surgery, I know how the system works. So I know I can phone up and speak to the secretary and say, could you please task Dr. So-and-so and say, I want to go up an extra pump, my night sweats are returning. And rather than then have an appointment, they come back and say, yeah, Dr. So-and-so said that's absolutely fine because you're only on 2 pumps, so you can go up a pump.
So that's something that I can ask my GP when I go in this time.
Yeah, definitely. And if you didn't have that appointment looming, as I say, that's what one of the secretarial jobs is, to task their GP to be able to say, right, Faye has, you know, can you, and the tasks then go to the doctor.
Feels she needs more help.
But that, at least that way, I mean, at one point we could actually do, you could go on to e-consults, but a lot of them have had to close e-consults down via the email system, because when I was working there, we couldn't cope with it. It was just, the messages were coming in hundreds a day.
Yeah,
and
I can imagine.
Yeah,
and probably repeat questions. So here's another thing that I wanted to talk to about as well. Was I couldn't get an appointment at my GP, or I couldn't get it in the time frame that I was actually home. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to go to a menopausal expert. Now, what I found online, I thought that a menopausal expert would be able to give me all the information and prescribe, and they cannot prescribe. That was my experience of who I went to. I basically got all the information, and I kind of knew it from what I'd read in menopausal. So I was like, okay, you're telling me something that I do know. What I need to know is, can you prescribe the estrogel for me? And they said no. So I spent 150 quid on a consultation, and I got no result at the end of it. So is that normal?
No. I think what you've done there is gone to somebody who is advising you and helping you navigate. I do that a lot with the 2 support groups that I run. I've done a menopausing course via Newson, but I can't prescribe, but I can only give advice. And this is what I think's happened to you. So what you would need to do is go to somebody like Dr. Naomi Potter at Menopause Care, who I actually recommend her quite a bit at the moment, along with a couple of others. And she would be able to prescribe.
Okay. So I think my message is, what I want to say is, just double check that before you pay for your consultation, make sure that they can actually follow through and prescribe something. And how do you do that? How do you know that these?
You would have to, you'd have to ask them beforehand to say, look, are you able to prescribe? What they're doing is helping you navigate what you need, talk to you. And a lot of these, I know a lot of them, there are a few very, very good ones out there who will then write to your GP with recommendations of what they've suggested. But because you, like you say, you pay that money, you want the end result to be that you can get your prescription, don't you?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
I would be looking at, go through a private menopause specialist. As I say, like Dr. Naomi Potter, I can send you her link. I know a lot of people have been there from my groups who have highly praised her, along with some others that I've recommended.
So I just read a little comment from somebody who was coming up there, who said that the medicines cost money as well. So I wanted to raise something about that, because when I pay for my prescriptions, but one of my friends, and actually my chemist, flagged that actually you can do a year's prepaid prescription certificate. So instead of paying for each time, it actually covers, it's like £19.
That's right, basically you have a prescription, an NHS prescription, you now can get all your HRT, pay the 120 quid, call it, and that will cover all your HRT for the year.
So it was the website, just to say it out loud on here as well, is nhsbsa.nhs.uk/PPC, and I'll pop this on my stories as well later. But it's just one payment for the year, which I didn't know, and I think that will be massively helpful in this climate at the moment, to know that everybody is accessible to that. You can go through the questionnaire. It's just literally a quick online thing, and able to.
I mean, that all came to fruition last year, and with so many of the campaigners that worked so tirelessly to get that through, and it's been a godsend for so many women who literally could not afford to just buy their HRT.
Someone's just said testosterone isn't covered within that, and that's why it's not.
In fact, there is a list. If you go on the British Menopause Society list or the NHS, there is a list. I'll look out the link. It's on my support group and on Davina's support group that I manage. And it basically pretty much everything is on there. But no, testosterone is not on there, and nor will Androfen be. If you go privately, you will pay privately for it. But even with a private specialist, if you go and see a private specialist, they can write to your GP with recommendations of what they feel that you should be on, and then you can still get your prescription on the NHS.
Right, okay.
As long as it doesn't exceed the licensed amount, which is basically 100 patch or 4 pumps of gel, because that's the recommendation of what you should be on.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's all individualized, isn't it? I mean, some people do need more than that, but often you have to go privately to do that.
And what's so interesting is how different everyone is experiencing this journey as well, because I spoke to one of my dearest, longest friends who is 10 years older than me, and she was saying that she just gets on with it, and I was so envious. But also kind of happy for her as well, and that we do have such different stories, because I don't know whether it was because I thought, oh, well, I'm an active person, I'm fairly healthy with my diet, I look after myself as much as I can. Yes, I enjoy life as well, but, you know, everything in moderation. And I just thought, why am I having these symptoms? Because I've always had a really sort of happy and easy sort of menstrual life. I mean, and I just think it's really interesting that I had quite a heightened experience of the different symptoms that I'm experiencing on my journey, and compared to my friend who has had a similar life, and she really doesn't feel
and there's a lot of women. Yeah, a lot of women. I was speaking to Caroline Kaz yesterday, who goes by I can't think of her name now. Dance Your Tits Off. And she's had breast cancer, and we were chatting, and she actually she's not taking HRT now, but she's a fitness trainer, so she's very into her fitness and what she eats, etc. And she still likes, you know, the nice things of life as well. But she's managed to get through hers without the HRT, and a lot of women do, and we all know, don't we, that, you know, you've got to, I mean, they say cut out alcohol. I like a drink, and so I haven't cut it out, but I'm trying to restrict it, because if I do have too much, I suffer the next day.
So I found with my alcohol intake, because I think socially, my job, you know, we end up, you know, doing a show, getting all very excited, then we have to wind down a bit, so we go to the pub or whatever. And I found that personally, different alcohols affect me in different ways on different days. So I can have a sip of wine and completely flush and be all over the place. And then maybe 2 days later, I can have the same wine and it will be completely different.
I've had that.
So, I mean, I think I just expect to flush, and I'm just make sure that I'm in good company. So
I actually find now that I don't ever sit down at a meal or without water as well. So I'm literally sipping a bit of red, because I like my red wine, and I'll have the drink, and then I'll get my water and drink a bit of water. But like you, sometimes I just go whoosh, and I think, oh my God, I've got it.
Also, I feel like I don't want alcohol as much.
No.
I think my, not that I massively drink, but I think because I feel better without it now. And I think my body is just going, do you know what? You'd feel better tomorrow if you don't have it. So don't bother, just find something else.
I've been like that as well. I must admit, I had a weekend away with the girls. I came back and I felt so rough, and I drank and ate so much. I actually haven't. I've had one drink since I've been back, and that was a tiny little bottle of lager.
Single bottles are fine. You know, sometimes it's like you just want the taste or the feeling of joining in. Well, I've been quite into that. I've enjoyed that no secco as well, because it feels like you're joining in, but actually. you're getting the taste and you're getting to join in and have the glasses, but actually you're not getting all the symptoms with it.
No.
I also, like food wise, it's been really interesting, because some things that agree with me during 1 week, I'll suddenly get really bloated the next week, and I feel like my diet has massively changed, and I kind of stick to really simple things that I know, especially on a work day. I'll stick to things that I know agree with my body, and it's really, I mean, I've got quite a simple palate anyway, but I don't.
Yeah, you find I find I get a bit not heartburn.
Someone said Faye eats too much fish. I do eat fish. That's a friend who doesn't
nothing
like
wrong with fish.
Yeah, I love fish.
Mine's I find now if I eat too much onion, oh my God, it repeats. That's it. It repeats on me all afternoon. I think, oh no, that's it. I'm not having onion.
Oh,
I don't know why.
Onions don't like me anyway, so I avoid those like the plague. But I think a lot of the foods that I choose now are quite nice and plain and simple, and actually my palate quite enjoys that these days. Well, somebody's just put about weight gain. Now, that's quite an interesting one as well, because my midriff is definitely not what it used to be. But then again, I'm not 21 anymore, and that's okay. And you know, I'm trying to enjoy, you know, my slightly wobblier hips these days and what have you that goes on with it. But I think I've definitely, exercising and doing a lot more walking, because we've got our lovely dogs that we walk every day. I think weight gain again. I think, you know, for me, when I got on the estrogen, that really helped because it leveled me off.
Yeah.
And I felt like I wanted to exercise again, because I went through a stage where I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to be on the sofa and feel sorry for myself. But actually, yes, exactly. And you're just drawn to all the rubbish foods. But I think getting on the HRT helped me level out my hormones and encouraged me to feel lifted again, and like in my head and positive again, and made me want to go out and exercise and feel good about myself.
It gets you off the sofa, doesn't it? I found that, and the sad part about it is when I didn't know that I was perimenopausal, I started gaining weight rapidly, and I really got I put on a lot of weight.
It's really disheartening.
It takes ages to get it back off, because once you put it on as you get older, it takes longer to get off, because obviously you're older, your metabolism slows down. You have to change how you eat. I've cut back on carbs. You know,
I think what I now do is I find sort of either low calorie replacements or things with so if I'm feeling like I need a sweet treat, which I do often, like after dinner I want a sweet treat, and so I usually have somebody just said something funny. I usually have I like, this is personal choice, not an advert, one of those fulfill bars.
Oh yeah.
Which is because it's got like a gooey,
nice sweet gooey.
Yeah, and I have that as a chocolate bar for after my dinner if I really want a sweet treat like that. Also, I like those marshmallow bars with the dark chocolate around them. That for me makes me feel like I've had it. And again, these are sort of all sort of under 100 calories. The protein bars, as they like, help with our protein intake as well. Up the protein, like lower.
Isn't it? It's just getting the sweetness in as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something you can eat that's good for you. That's
alternative, and just it's all about changing your mindset about it, isn't it? It's like I still can have something sweet, but I'm going to do something else. Yeah, and choose that. And I'm not saying this is what I do every day, because I really don't.
No, I think we're all good at saying, oh, let's do this, let's do that. I had that chat the other day with Janie, and she said, I can say to somebody, go off for a walk, get out in the fresh air. And she said, no, I can be sat on my backside not doing it. And I said, yeah, that's me.
It's
exactly. Getting that mindset, isn't it? But I've started swimming again, which is great. It's not great for the hair, but I love the feeling of swimming. And then I've been doing weight bearing exercises with weights.
So my go-to exercise, so I've now started doing stretching and yoga and bits in the morning, like my version of it. So when we do this work, we do a warm-up. So I kind of integrate that into sort of my little yoga stretching in the morning, and just putting on nice music, and having like 20 minutes to myself just sets me up nicely for the day. I still do drink coffee because I enjoy coffee. But I limited myself to sort of one black coffee in the morning now, rather than just keeping going for it, because again that sometimes causes flushes. And now I've swapped, and I do like matcha tea as well. Not that they taste great, but I feel like I'm doing something good for myself.
Well, I'm a tea drinker, and I just drink good old PG Tips, and that's it.
Love a cup of tea, but then I'm trying to limit my dairy intake for other things as well. So it's all like, it's a balance.
I know, isn't it? It's a nightmare. You just sometimes wish, God, I wish I could just eat anything. When I was in my 20s and 30s, before I had my first son, I was nearly 30. I was literally a size 8 to 10, and I didn't put on any weight at all.
Although there is, so if I'm working and I'm doing a 2-show day, especially for like when I do pantos, it's a long day and there's lots of exercise. It's mild cardio. I don't go, I don't do as much as I did, but actually that kept my weight down. So even when you are going through this journey, if your hormones are fairly balanced, it is possible to lose that weight if you have consistent exercise. I think then what happens is that I go home, I go, oh lovely, the boys have got all this lovely stuff in the cupboards that I don't usually have in my
room.
And I'm like that, oh, I have that, and I'm like, oh, within literally 3 days I can like blow up like a balloon and go, oh look, I've done that to myself again.
I did that.
So go, right, okay, get back on it, concentrate, let's just make yourself feel good again, because I know that when I do have that extra weight on me, I don't feel good about myself. I don't feel good because I can't get my clothes. I refuse to buy a size bigger.
But I think that sometimes I'm like that. I put my jeans on after Christmas and they were tight, and I thought, oh, for goodness sake. And it was because I hadn't been swimming for 2 weeks. And the difference was unbelievable. And I just thought, right, get back on it. But it took me to the middle of January to get back on it. And I kept saying to the ladies, don't beat yourself up if it takes you a bit longer. Because I hate January. I always find it has a dip to it. I love Christmas and the build up.
It's quite dark in this room that I'm in at the moment. I should have had more light on, but it's just that it feels grey, doesn't it? And I think for me, I also get after show blues. So if I do a tour, or if I do a panto, or if I do work with steps, it's your energy and your adrenaline is so high, and your endorphins and serotonin are like flying, and then you come home in January and it's grey, and you have to get back down to doing jobs and like the everyday things, and
everyday stuff.
I struggle with that. I think that I definitely I should just put lots of lights in my dressing room, shouldn't I? Put like fairy lights all around the house. I don't know. But
I think everybody does, though. I love the build up to Christmas, and my husband was mortified when I put the tree up at the end of November. He said, I can't believe you're doing that before my birthday, because his birthday is the 4th of December. And I said to him, but I love the build up to Christmas. My 3 boys come home with their partners, and I just love all that. And then about a week after Christmas, I start to get that, and the tree comes down and everything comes down, and then it's like, oh, back to normal.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's when I really struggle, and I think that I have to get myself out there. And I've got a wonderful friend of mine who runs classes, and it's like all the girls come back together in the room, start doing all our steps or our kettlebells or our circuits or whatever, and that's kind of camaraderie. Everyone wants to get back on it again. And it's sometimes you just have to push yourself to get out there and do stuff that makes you happy during the day as well, just to
definitely
yourself again. So that helped me.
Somebody said, is Faye on HRT? Yes, she is. She's taking a pump of gel, and she has the coil.
Mine was Levocet for the progesterone, and that's what I'm doing.
Your go-to. It's your go-to.
Yeah, it's literally saved me and made me confident enough to go back to work. I was panicking that I would stand on stage and have brain fog and just not remember my lines. And the real fear, it was a bunny in the headlights moment where I just thought, what if that happens? And the anxiety of that, I think, stopped me taking a few jobs And I really was so, yeah, I just take one pump. Someone's just asking me. Yeah, so far that's all I need. And what's so wonderful is I can up that if I need to at a later date.
Yeah, when you see GP, you can say to him, you know, that you feel that you might need it. If your joints are giving you that much, you know, there's a slight joint pain as well still, then you may benefit from increasing it. And they often start on 2 pumps anyway. That's often the recommended starting dose is 2 pumps.
Is it now? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because just that one pump really completely changes life for me. It really does.
Yeah, so it could be very interesting for you. It could be that that's all that you need. You don't need anything else because, as I say, when you have something removed like your ovaries, unfortunately, the estrogen and testosterone and everything's in your ovaries. So that's one of the reasons I needed testosterone. But it took me nearly 10 years to realise that. And I didn't, you know, I couldn't go on too high doses. I went on 100 patch once, and I felt really spaced out. I thought, oh, it's too much. It was too much estrogen thrown at me in one foul swoop. So, yeah, I'm happy on my patch and the 1 pump of gel.
Yeah, it's like you say, it's like everybody is so different.
So different.
So, yeah.
And what works for you, Faye, won't work for another person, and vice versa. We are completely unique, and some of us have got our ovaries, some haven't, wombs, etc.
Exactly.
So.
And you just have to listen to your body, and I think being body aware is really massive. And I think I'm prioritizing and making different changes in and around my day that makes me feel better as a person, as in physically and mentally. It's like if I'm having a bit of a wobble and I'm feeling anxious, I will take myself away, have a cup of tea, sit myself down, write some stuff down. I feel like sometimes I have to start my day with a little list of what I can achieve. This is when I'm not working, and I just have to go, right, what can I achieve today? What will make me feel good? You know, simple things, really simple things, one little thing at a time. And if I get through half the list, I'm really happy. If I've blitzed it, I feel excellent, and I'll probably reward myself. But yeah, I think it's during this journey, I think it's just a lot of help is venting about it, talking to your friends about it.
Definitely.
And just taking one day at a time, because it affects us all so differently.
And that's the beauty of the support groups as well, because so many of the ladies come on and say, oh my God, I thought I was going mad. And yet there's all these women saying, no, I had this, I had that. And it's just hearing that you're not alone. Which makes all the difference. And I was, in fact, going back to Davina's book, my group is actually in the back of it, which I was so chuffed. MHDG, the group that I started, and she joined quite a few years ago now. So she put it in the book, which was so kind of her. But I think it makes such a difference, even if you can just talking to strangers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, where was I the other day? I'd gone to, I went to a beautician's. Somebody's just asking how they can join the Facebook group, support group.
Groups are on Facebook. I'll put them on after my chat with Faye. I'll collaborate with Faye so that we can put all the bits and pieces on. But they're both on Facebook, and there's a very fantastic community of women on both groups. So.
And I think what's so lovely is when we can laugh about things as well, because, you know, it's not something, you know, that we take lightly, and it's uncomfortable talking about some things as well. And it's so nice to be able to laugh and go, oh,
definitely. Yeah, you've got to laugh. You've got to laugh sometimes, otherwise you scream or cry, I think.
Or get ragey.
Well, thank you so much, Faye. I was going to say, I'm looking at the time, so I don't want it so that we can't load it onto Instagram, because I think there's a limit of how much time we can talk. I could have talked on and on and on with you. I really could.
But no, thank you for inviting me along, because I know that, you know, what we do sometimes on this side of our industry is, you know, all full of glamour and beauty, and it's, you know, it's all smoke and mirrors. It really is. Underneath it all, we're all human, and we're all, you know, going through different journeys. And I think it's really important that we can reach out to everybody and just say, actually, this is going on with me, and yes, I'm working, and yes, you see, you know, the hair done and the face on and all this lot, but actually, you know, sometimes I feel like I'm crumbling, and it's okay. That's okay too. So,
and there's always help out there, ladies, so don't ever think you're alone, because you're not.
Absolutely.
But Faye, good luck with everything that's coming up.
Thank you.
And it'd be brilliant if we could get another chat in towards the end or middle to the end of the year, see how you're getting on and how you are with your HRT. That would be fabulous.
Yeah, just give me a shout. I'd love that. Thank you very much. And thanks to everyone who joined us. And yeah, we'll put up a little posts and bits and pieces that we've been talking about today.
That's fabulous. Thank you so much.
No worries.
You take care now.
Lots of love.
Bye-bye, love. If I've connected, which it looks like it has, which is good. Great. And I should just wait for a few people to jump on. And I'm going to be asking the lovely Faye to join me. As we know, Faye from Step